How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another 76 video, and today we're going to be covering how to respawn loot in various different ways. Now this is gauged more towards new players, as well as another option for players who may not have known to kind of help with farming things like canisters, leader bobbleheads, or just farming things in general. Now the quick rundown of what this video is going to be covering is respawning loot, as well as using two accounts or using a friend to help you force spawn items that can't spawn for you anymore unless you collect the 255 plus items. Now if you don't have access to a second account or a friend to help you, that's perfectly fine. The usual method of going to Summersville or whatever place that you feel comfortable with still works, and it's still probably the best solo option. Well, let's go ahead and get right to it. Now what you see here is my looter and my spawner. The left side is my looter, the right side is my spawner. And as you can see on the left, I don't have any of the canisters here. We don't have it at the first spot, and coming down here to the second spot, I won't have it there either. The reason why is because on this character, I've already picked them up previously. So if I wanted to go into another server or my private server, I would not be able to get them to spawn unless I pick up 255 plus items for me to be able to get them back. But if you see on the right hand side, my main character is in a private server, and I noticed that my second character is spawning in. What I'm going to do is leave as soon as the screen is loading, and then start building a new private server. It's more than enough time for me to get my looter to grab the canisters, but also have my spawner getting another private server prepared. You can do this with a friend as well in the exact same situation. Whether your friend has Fallout first or you have Fallout first, you dedicate who's a looter, dedicate who is the spawner. Spawner loads in first, looter loads in second. And then you can just rinse and repeat the process to keep looting things infinitely for one of your characters, or if you're looting for two, as many times as you want until you guys are satisfied. But as you can see, the canisters are there for me, and I'm still able to get them, even though they didn't spawn in the other world because I've already previously looted. But by the time I finish looting, my other account, my spawner, is already loading into another private server, which allows me to then join that character on my looter and rinse and repeat the process pretty fast. Now to show you guys real quick, it does work for things like bobbleheads as well. The location for this is the trading post in the Sky Valley region. The first RV to your left as soon as you spawn will have the leader bobblehead there. Now to show you guys how to reset your private servers real quick, all you have to do is start a custom server. When you see building world there at the side of your screen, cancel it and then start your private. It'll begin to build a new private server for you to loot. Now this does not reset the loot itself. This just allows you to reset the server, so if your spawner hasn't picked anything up, your looter can go in and grab things and then rinse and repeat. This also works if you're doing like solo nukes, or if you want to farm the hell out of encrypted and you have a ton of encrypted keycards and can solo very quickly. This is one way to do that. But we're going to go ahead and skip ahead and load into our looter, and when we go back to the bobblehead, it is still there. Now let's go ahead and do the solo respawn. Now this method is known all around, but if you are new to the game or new to resetting your loot, this is how you can do it. Now what we're going to do here is grab the two fuel canisters here, and then we're going to head on over to Summersville. In most if not all reset videos, if you have seen them before, it's the same concept, but I don't know if any of them may have mentioned of using a second respawn point. Before I get to that, here is where Summersville is. It is south of the 87A, north of the 87 in the forest. Now I'm going to speed this part up because the area is small, but there's a lot of crap in it, so we want to try and get through it. Otherwise this is going to be like a 25-30 minute video because of just simply looting. Now most people will just say grab the books and go on your merry way and continue looting. Although it is very true, that's all you need to do. I usually recommend to pick up everything because it does help respawn the house slightly. Definitely not enough of items to respawn to use the house a second time, but all junk is good junk, so I usually recommend it just because of that. Now just in case you don't have Fallout first and you don't have access to a tent or your camp is nowhere nearby, you can come over here to the side next to the graveyard and there will be a chem bench for you to break things down to. Now, if you're still heavy and either you don't want the junk, of course you can drop it. But if you do happen to have a scrap kit, which is located under your miscellaneous, this will put all of your junk inside of your stash box. If you have Fallout first, you can use this to store it all in your scrap box. Now you may notice that the canisters are not spawned here. The reason why is because we were already here, and it's the same server that we reset our stuff on. The way to get them to respawn is to simply pop into a new server, or if you're doing it in a private, reset your private server and build a new one. Then your loot will be respawned. Another method that I would recommend is after you do your farm and you're going to go to your reset spot, go there before and then reset your server and then respawn, because then you can fast travel to the location right afterwards and continue your farming. But as you can see, we just did a simple server refresh and our canisters are there. Now I forgot to grab the canisters, so we grabbed them here, and we're gonna do something a little bit different because I want to address something that could potentially be brought up in the comments, which is using only Summersville house to reset your loot and not using a second location. Now to cover all of my bases here in regards to how that's not possible, unless you are doing a very massive farming session where you're picking up well over 200 items as you're farming and then you're resetting, that's the only way that you could technically reuse the Summersville house. And to also answer any potential comments that could be, well, if you just pick up the books, do your farm and then go back and pick up everything else, that'll be enough. It will not. Once you pick up 255 items, that's the threshold of respawning, and since the house holds well over 255 items with all the stuff included, it will respawn a portion of that house, and even if you pick up the respawn portion, it is still not enough to do a second set. Now you can technically grab the whatever has respawned from the Summersville, reset your private server, and then farm whatever else spawns. That could work. I have done it a couple times because I was lazy to go to other farming or respawning locations, but it does take a little bit more time. But if that's something that you would like to do, that is an option. We don't do it here in this video, but I wanted to address that just in case. Now to back up what I'm saying is we're going to use the Summersville house again, and we're just going to pick up whatever has been respawned. Now we're going to go through a quick walkthrough to kind of show you guys how much has respawned. You can already see that the front of the house isn't too bad. We do have a lot of books here, but the top half and the bottom half, barely anything to nothing has respawned. But let's go ahead and speed this up and I'll show you guys what I mean. Now once we gather everything, we're going to go to the location, show that the canisters are not there, and do another server hop or server reset to show that these canisters are still not there. And then afterwards, we're going to go to the second farming location that I like to go to. Now, if you guys have any other locations that you would recommend in terms of resetting loot, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know of other spots. But as you can see, the canisters are not there. And this is from Summersville after picking up all of the items that could potentially spawn inside of it and everything that had reset. Again, if you server hop and farm whatever respawn afterwards in another server, then you might be able to respawn. But using it one at a time every single rotation, it will not work that way. But even inside the new server, again, the cans are not there. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the Sons of Dane's area. Now, if you haven't used the Sons of Dane's location to respawn your loot, the place that I like to go for this is the main barn in the center, the inside, the top floor, and the back side where the firing range is. Now be very careful of the ultrasite corpse there, because if you touch it in the back where all the cans and canisters are, it will explode and blow everything all over the place, and it's a pain in the butt. Also be very wary of using an explosive weapon in general because it'll blow things away. But after farming that, I like to go to the little house located right next to it and go for the outside and the inside, top and bottom, and grab everything that I can. This is more than enough not only to reset Summersville on its own. Granted, we already picked up a good portion. Without picking that up, if you use a second respawn location, it will work. But to show you guys, here is Summersville after picking up Sons of Dane. the whole house respawned. Everything is there, so then after I grab the canisters again, I can come back here and grab the loot and reset again. Now to put it in a very simple way, it's loot, respawn 1, loot, respawn 2, and rinse and repeat, back and forth, as much as you'd like. Now Sons of Dane is definitely not the best place to respawn, it's just a location that I like to use, as well as the White Springs Golf Club. If you know of another location that's similar to the book house, by all means use whatever you are comfortable with. But on a side note, I really like Sons of Danes because it has 3 magazine spawns and 3 bobblehead spawns. So it is quite nice. Now since I've already been to the canister location, I had to reset the private server again so I can get them to respawn here at the Radiant Hills. Which as you can see, after doing Sons of Dane, they are there. But that is how to reset as a solo player. It is a pain in the butt, but it's also really good for resources in general. But that about covers it, guys. I hope you guys found the information useful and enjoyed the video. I figured I'd do a repost with more detail and information because if they went to my older video, it doesn't have nearly as much info in terms of how to do like a respawn for the respawn or doing the 2-man infinite farm. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have questions, please let me know in the comments. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Happy hunting, good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next one.